All right, all levels, pure mat. Now, when I say pure mat, I would always encourage you to have your props. I would always suggest you have a block to hand, a towel, maybe your resistance band, which I'll hold up needlessly, you know what it is. But anyway, I would always have those sort of lurking in the corner, just because you might think today I need a little bit of support, or I'll be more comfortable with that thing, I need to adapt. That's the idea. So have them handy, but we won't necessarily be using them in the class other than as postural correction, okay? So arms are long down by your sides. Let's start with a turnout today. We call this the Pilates V, Pilates stance, Mary Poppins feet. Now, as soon as we go from here to here, obviously it means that we're rotating the thigh bones outward. If we're a bit tight, we can find that straight away that happens. So bring your feet again back to parallel and just take a moment to have your hands front and back. And then go back into your V and just see if your pelvis stays quiet. You haven't let it arch. So if you are a bit tight through the front of the side of the hip, then that one for you might not feel quite so, or it's a little bit weaker in the inner thigh, whatever. That one may not feel quite as suitable for you. So if you prefer to stay in a parallel position, then that one is an option for you, okay? It's not a deal breaker. Let your arms hang long by your sides and let's just go through our setup. And I ask you, even if I don't reference this, I ask you to do this yourself every class. And I do, believe it or not, jabbering away, but I do. But let's do this one together. I want you to balance that imaginary book on the crown of your head. And I want you to push your head into that book and grow that a little bit taller. At the same time, I want you to imagine pulling your tailbone down towards the floor, not out to the wall behind you, not into the wall in front of you, but down. Romana, Joseph Pilates' protege, used to talk about tailbone needs to point to the floor and imagine it's heavy. Imagine it's she said, a bag of sand hanging on your tailbone, pulling it downward. And just that tiny action will give a little posterior tilt to the pelvis, which means from here to here, I've shortened, which means these muscles already start to connect, as well as being much healthier for the spine. Breathe into your ribs. Visualize your ribs expanding, a circular shape, expanding to the front, to the back, to the sides. A little indicator here is that your t-shirt doesn't pull up and down with your breath. Your shoulders don't lift up with your breath, okay? Because the ribs don't move upward, they move forward and backward and they move to the sides. Just take a moment to think about your breath. Think about creating a little bit more space between your collarbones. Maybe give your shoulders a slight squeeze back, not so you're pulling them right back and getting into an unnatural shape, but just if you've been sat at the, sat at your desk, sat on the sofa, whatever, a little bit rounded, just to be aware of rebalancing what's going on there. Let your arms feel heavy. Put your fingertips down towards the floor as you create that length through your spine, breathing into your ribs. I want you just to take a moment to think about pulling your pelvic floor up, giving it a squeeze and relax, but being able to do that without clenching the buttock muscles. So remember, it's a very deep internal connection, and the pelvic floor engaged automatically then connects to the TVA, transverse abdominis, which stabilizes the spine. Big postural muscle there. All right, so we're breathing, we're standing tall, we've got length through the spine, breathing into the ribs. And I want you just to start with a little nod of your head, draw your chin into your chest, and lift your head back up, and look over one shoulder. And return. Take a nod of your head, breathe into those ribs. And lift back up. And look away over the other side. Now today, in today's class, our theme is going to be slowing down a little bit. Okay, I mean, I am, my goodness me, I'm the queen of rushing around and doing everything far too fast, and just in general life, it means that I can be sloppy and make mistakes because I'm always rushing. But if I was to bring that theory to my mat, if I'm sloppy, if I'm making mistakes in my practice, then really, what is the point in doing it? So it takes, for me, a huge amount of discipline to slow down and just to stop here and there, and that's in general. But I know I'm not alone in that one. So today, The exercises are all going to be very familiar. We're just going to see if we can just slow it down a little bit and really connect our mind with our movement and give a better quality to our movement. Now come back to your center, and the next time you nod your chin, keep going and into a roll down. Now, you know this, because of the position of your feet, you feel a little less mobile. Your pelvis might try and push backwards. See if you can resist that. Let your head feel heavy. Let your arms hang out in front of your feet. And don't mind how far you go, but take a moment to observe where the weight is. Has the weight changed in your feet? Have you rolled onto the outside edges of your feet, for example, or are you flat to your insteps? Now start to roll up. I want you to go slowly, and as you roll up, can you try and lift your insteps ever so slightly, and that immediately switches on your inner thighs, which connects to your pelvic floor, which connects to your abdominals, which gives you much more support. So if you're someone who goes a little bit flat-footed and over-pronates, just don't actually lift, but just imagine there's something very sharp, a drawing pin on the instep of each foot. Let's go again. Take a nod of your chin. Knees are soft if you need. Bend your knees a little if you need. Don't worry about how far down you go. Let your head feel heavy. Forward. Over. Curling down. Let your head feel heavy. Great work. Now again, just imagine a sharp drawing pin under the instep of each foot. So you're not rolling onto the outside edge of your foot. I don't want that, but I want you to feel that connection. Now start to rebuild, keeping that very subtle instep lift, and feel how your inner thighs work. Up into your pelvic floor, into your abdominals. Stand tall, and when you become upright this next time, carry on with your out breath and lift your arms. We talk about floating the arms because we want to imagine that they're light. Now here again, watching your t-shirt hasn't pulled up, so it shouldn't be moving because your arms are moving within the socket of your shoulder, not your shoulder girdle, but your shoulder joint. There's a difference. Bring those arms back down. Let's keep that move going, but let's make it really slow. We're going to roll down for a count of 6. So come with me. So take a nod of your chin for 6, 5, 4. Give that belly a little squeeze. 3, 2. Feel those drawing pins sticking into the instep. 1. Take a deep breath. Roll up. 6. Start to push your hips forward slightly. 5, 4, 3, 2. You're fully upright, and on your next out breath, carry on and lift your arms. And can you actively pull your ribs down? Pull them down towards your hips. Let's do that one more time. Slowly does it. You count for yourself this time, keeping it slow, and try to prevent your hips from traveling backwards. Nod of your chin. Let your head feel heavy. Over. Take your time. You're looking back at your knees, your head is heavy, breathing into the back of your rib cage, and slowly rebuild your spine. So as you roll back up, try and push your hips slightly forward as you roll up, and again carry on and lift your arms. Now this time keep your arms to the ceiling. Now we're going to a side bend. So imagine you're going to reach up and over your neighbour's fence. Hips don't move. Up and reach over. Hold it and just lengthen that arm down. Bring that arm back up and come to your centre. So your hips don't move. Lengthen through the spine. So your tailbone is still pointing to the floor. It hasn't just pointed off to the side there. Up and over. Take your arm to the floor. Lift your arm back up, return center and lower. Now, when you lower your arms, we all know I'm no ballet dancer, not by any stretch, but think of really soft, floaty arms. Lift up through the chest, shoulders stay open. We're just going to lift and lower for 3. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower for 3. And again, breathe out, lift. Breathe in for 2, and again breathe out. Hold it here. Now, can you slide your shoulders down your back just a little bit more? Lovely soft arms over to the side. This time, keep your arms like they are. Back to the center and over. Tailbone pointing down to the floor, not like a dog wagging its tail. Back to the center and over. Stay open through your chest. Watch sure you haven't rotated. Back to the center. And again, over. Lengthen through that waist. Let's do that one more time each way. Take your time. Can you go a tiny bit further this time? So as you reach over, make sure you haven't put all the weight into this foot. Reach over and lengthen through the upper side a little bit more and a little bit more. And then squeeze that upper side to bring you back center and then away to the opposite side. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. And come back and open your arms out. Your hands are palms facing out. Now spine twist. This is the one where I nag endlessly about where the hips are going. Hips don't move. Let the rib cage rotate. Let the arms follow the ribs. Now breathe in and come back to the center. And I really want you to feel your ribs turning. So breathe out and rotate your rib cage. Let your arms follow. Now, if you've turned to the left like me, ever so slightly, put your right hip backwards and then come back to the center, but not at the expense of that spine. Let's go. We're going to turn to the right. So ever so slightly, put your left hip backward. Come back, center. And I really want you to feel these waist muscles working here. And then away to the opposite side. So slightly pulling your left hip back. I beg your pardon, your right hip back, I'm so sorry. As you turn to the left, come back and relax. It's a frustrating one because it's very easy to cheat, not deliberately. It's just very easy to let things go a little bit wonky. Okay, now take your feet into a parallel position. Let your shoulders relax and just start with a little raise of those heels and lower and lift one knee and lower. Okay, let's lift those heels again. Lift, take your time and lower and lift that opposite knee and lower. We're going to do one more round here. So lift your heels and lower. Lift one knee and return. Perfect. Lift your heels and lower and take away that second knee and lower. Okay, now we've done this one in an earlier class, a little bit more balance, our slow motion runner. You're going to slide one foot back, let your arms feel heavy, take that leg away behind you. If you don't feel safe to lift your foot off the floor, that's okay, keep your toes touching. Now come back through, stand upright, slide that foot through and lift without leaning back. So if you don't want your foot to come off the floor behind you, slide your toes along the floor, but you're light, there's no weight there. If you're happy to, is it arabesque? I think it might be arabesque. I don't think mine is an arabesque, to be fair. And come back through and lift. So lots of load in that standing leg. But are you still getting into that center? Are you thinking pelvic floor and abdominal connection? Let's do that one more time on this side. So pull into that pelvic floor. Pull into those abdominals. So you might need to tighten that belt even more. Give your pelvic floor a squeeze to stabilize you. Come back through and lift. And return. Have a little shimmy because the standing leg can get quite tight with that one, can't it? And then we'll go to side two. All right. So slide your foot away. And then again, if you feel happy to, lift your foot. Bring your chest forward. You don't need to lift your foot. You can just rest your toes on the floor, but try not to rely on your toes. Slowly travel back through. And lift that knee out in front of you. Shoulders are relaxed and down. Lengthen your spine. Lower your foot. And again, slide your toes away. Bring your chest forward and down. Reaching over and down, sending your leg out behind you. Slowly, 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 really concentrate on your movement, on your breath, on the muscles that you're using to stabilize you. Okay, just one more here. Shoulders are relaxed. Squeeze into your pelvic floor. Squeeze into your abdominal area. Well done. Lovely work. And bring your foot to the floor. Okay, we're just going to have a really quick calf stretch because that's a very bitey one. Just step one foot back, press your heel into the floor and just bend your front knee. But you know, I love to do balance work. I do so much balance work in our classes. It's so important for us. Okay, step it in. Second foot goes back, press that heel in. And come out of it. Well done, fabulous. Let's come down to the mat. Now we're going to start seated. So this is where you may find you want to grab your block, okay? Excuse me. Now, as you know perfectly well, our seated position is such that we want our shoulder and our hip in line, collarbone to the front of the pelvis. However, we might be a bit tight through the lower back. We might be a bit tight in the backs of the legs, and we might be sitting like that. In which case, grab your block to bring you upright. You can use a cushion. Personally, I don't think it's as good. It's too squishy. It doesn't support you. You might need two blocks, and that's completely fine. It doesn't matter. This is when we use props to correct our posture, to put us into the best postural position, okay? So it's not that you're not doing it as well, it's that you're using common sense to work more efficiently. Likewise, if you can, your legs are long, but you know what? Maybe you need to have a little bend of your knees, and that too is absolutely fine. So we're going to go back into our spine twist. Now, this is where I want us to slow it down, and I want you to make it absolutely perfect. Now, if you've got a bend of your knees, watch that your knees don't move. If your legs are long, watch that your feet don't move. Excuse me. Your hips are being held in a vice. Arms, you can do what you like, okay? Whatever you like. If your arms are long, there tends to be a lot more leverage. So that's sometimes where you might find you go wrong. So you might be better off reducing the lever so that you can work more in your center. But that one's totally up to you. Excuse me. Now, start by stacking that spine. Grow tall. Think about the hip flexor work I did with you. The class is a workshop, all about how to switch off here, or to relax here, I should say. So before you go anywhere, pull up your pelvic floor. Pull into your abdominals. Lengthen through your spine, and then start to rotate your ribs. Turn, and turn, and turn, and turn. And hold it. Now just quickly glance back. Make sure your knees, your feet were exactly in line. Now hold. Now grow just a fraction taller. And then slowly come back to the center. This is a tough move, okay, because it's a very familiar one, and you know, the packaging on the label looks quite simple. Sometimes we can treat it with a little less respect, but this is a tough move. There's a lot going on here. Rotation, not necessarily something we do as much during the day as we do maybe flexion, bending over and picking things up, and likewise. So rotation is a tough one. We've got the muscles working around the center. We've got the muscles through the thigh muscles, the buttock muscles, back muscles, abdominals, pelvic floor. Breathe into your ribs. And I want you to spiral and grow taller. Think of twisting the lid off a jar. So with each rotation, the lid is getting a little higher away from the jar. Relax through those shoulders. Whatever you like with your arms, that one's up to you. I'm keeping my arms out of the way so I can keep talking. And I want you to really feel here how all the way through this, you're pulling your ribs. I say this over and over and over. I must come up with a different cue. Pulling your ribs away from the front of your t-shirt ever so slightly, pushing your rib cage backward, but growing taller. And do you feel then how much work you're getting across your middle back? How much work's going on there? Let's do that one more time each way. If you're getting a bit tired, you need a breather, have a breather, come out of it. That's absolutely fine. So that when we finish, your waist muscles, your obliques feel really loaded. They feel like they've really had to work. So grow taller. So yes, a lot of work into the back muscles, but feel those obliques and have a breather. So we're going to stretch those waist muscles out because they were working pretty hard. One hand to the floor, one hand to the ceiling, and just up and over. Well done. Come back to your center and up and over. Okay, so lot of load through here. So we're going to flip it over and we're going to work on lengthening this area. So come over onto your front. We're going to go to one leg kick. We're going to start head down and your head is resting on the back of your hands. Excuse me. Now you want to aim to have your legs together. And when I say together, heels together. But again, that might not suit everyone. In which case, just take your feet a couple of inches further apart, but your heels are pointing to the ceiling, not pointing to either side of the room. Because if you let that happen, let your heels fall away for a moment. Do you see? You've completely switched off everything through the back of the body. Now bring your heels back so your heels are parallel and pointing to the ceiling, and straight away you get that connection right the way up into your back muscles. So there's a big difference there, isn't there? Now the one leg kick is widely misunderstood and it appears to be quite pointless. It's a fantastic exercise, but there is a lot going on here. We're going to keep our head down. Now, I want you to imagine you've got a bit of elastic, a resistance band attached to your collarbone, running down your body underneath you, across your hip bone, underneath your knee and onto your big toe. Now bend your knee. So imagine as you bend your knee, let's just do one leg obviously, bend your knee. Just imagine you're now stretching that band. Stretching. How tight in towards your sit bone can you bring your heel? Now hold it a moment. Now if your hips have just popped up off the floor, the band is no longer lengthening. Press your hips down and feel a little bit more stretch. And then lower your foot back down. Does that make sense? So you've got both feet on the floor. Can you stretch that band even longer? Now let's go to side two. So I want you to imagine as you start to bend your knee, at the same time, pull your foot away from you. How long can you make that band? So the movement is coming from your waistband. Sorry, I beg your pardon. The stretch, the lengthening starts from your waistband. So as you bend your knee now and bring your heel in, try to push your knee further back behind you, not your hip, your knee. So hold your leg here. So imagine from your waistband to your kneecap, trying to lengthen there. And then lower your foot back down, shoulders relaxed. So feel that resistance band along the front of the thigh running. It's attached to your waistband, it's attached to your collarbone, wherever. So bend leg one without letting your hip lift. Now, obviously, you've got your knees to consider, your spine to consider, so you might not bend very far, and that's okay. Now, hold it here for a moment. Now, what we're going to do, the toes are pointed at the moment. We're going to do a little pulse. We're going to do a little kick in one. Relax. Now flex the foot, kick in one, relax. Now point the toes, kick in one and lower back down. So it's a little bouncy move. The more speed and the more bounce, the more unstable we are. So that's going to be our challenge. Let's go side two. Stay slow with me to begin with. Bring your foot right in with your toes pointed. Check that your hips are still heavy. Now relax away and flex your foot. It's only a small move. And kick in. Relax away, point your toes and kick in. And then lower your leg. Now hold it. When you lower, don't switch off. Keep stretching that band. Stretch, stretch. Reach out of your big toe. Make that leg even longer and straight away side one. Bend your knee. So we're not working any more quickly, but we're starting to sequence. Okay, so as your knee starts to bend, pull your knee away from you a bit more and a bit more. Feel how the hamstring's working here, lengthening the quads. Kick in one, relax, flex. Kick in two, relax, flex. Point your toes, kick in three. Now, as you start to take your foot away, lengthen. Reach your big toe as far away from the front of your hip as you can and start to lift leg two. Bend slowly, bring that foot in, pushing your knee away. And again, it's a little kick in one, flex, kick in two, point, kick in three, and lower back down. So the purpose of the one leg kick is to lengthen through the front of the body and to strengthen the back of the body. So what we need here is the back of the rib cage, the belt there, to tighten and work. By keeping the pelvis stable, we got that focus. Now we're going to take it just a little bit further. So come up onto your elbows. And you know what? If this one doesn't work for you and you'd rather keep your head down, then that's what you'll do, not a problem. We're going to stay slow, but needless to say, when we start to pulse with the legs, and it's like much quicker movement, that's when we start to become less stable and we rock and we pop up and all sorts. We're going to stay slow today. Shoulders are drawn down. So remember how I talked about that band running from your collarbone to your big toe? So you think about it now, you've just stretched it already. It's already lengthened. So now when you bring your foot in, you might find it doesn't want to go quite so far. You might have to work harder at pressing your hip down. Then it's a little kick. 1, 2, 3, and lower. Now, when you do that, there's no movement through the shoulders and no movement through the hips. Bring that leg in. Kick. 1, 2, 3, and lower. Hold it. Hold it. Put your collarbones a little higher up. Lift your chest. Pull your sternum away from your pubic bone. Keep your pubic bone into the floor. Shoulders are down. Feel that belt around the ribs. Now, leg 1. Bring it in. Kick 1, kick 2, kick 3, and lower. Leg 2, bring it in. Kick 1, kick 2, kick 3, and lower. Lift your chest. Lift your chest. Lift. There you go. Shoulders are down. Leg 1. Come on, pull your chest up, pull your shoulder blades down your back. 1, 2, 3. Hips are heavy to the floor. And to side 2. 1, 2, 3, and lower back down and relax. Whew. So really lengthening through the front of the body. Okay, a lot of strength work through the back of the body. We go into the double leg kick, which is a little bit more complex. Good move, but there's quite a bit going on. So this is where Pilates is brilliant for our coordination and, you know, working with all of you. You know, your body awareness, your sense of proprioception, your coordination is fantastic, which is why bringing in complex moves, you are so much, you know, you're there because you're so used to sort of complex work and sequencing. Turn your head and rest your head on one cheek, and then bring your hands around and hold your hands behind you. Okay. Now, we start by bringing our hands as far up towards our shoulders as we can and then dropping the elbows down, which is not a comfortable position, okay? Now, from here, all I want you to do is start to slide your hands down your back, stretch your arms out long. Now, lift your chest. Can you lift your chest high enough that you can turn your head without lifting your chin up in the air to the opposite side? Lower your head back down and then bend your elbows and slide your hands right the way up and let your elbows drop down. Okay? So again, start to pull your hands down. Now squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your head. Lift your chest. Now pull your arms, pull on them. Pull, 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 pull. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Turn your head side 2. Gently does it. Lower down and slide your hands back up. Shall we do that one more time each way? Now hold it a moment. Legs are straight, hips are heavy. So a lot of back strength. Pull your hands down and start to actively squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your head, lift your chest. Turn your head, look the other way, lower your head down, bend your elbows, slide your hands back up and relax. And again, start to slide your hands down, lift your chest, pull your hands apart against each other as you lift your chest to challenge the strength of your back muscles and lower back down and relax. Okay, now leave your arms where they are. And now we bring the lower body work in. So this time it's a double leg kick. Legs are together. Give your legs a little squeeze. Now bend your knees. This time it's a double kick, not a treble kick. And it's just kick 1, 2, and lower. Legs together, and kick in. 1, 2, and lower. Let's just do that one more time here. So keep it heavy through the front of the pelvis. Kick in 1, kick in 2, and lower. Okay, now we put the 2 moves together and we're aiming to be off the floor with the upper and the lower at one point. So we're going to go super slow. So your elbows are bent, your hands are right up towards your middle back. Start to pull your arms down. Lift your head, Lift your chest. Now really aggressively, put your hands apart away from each other. Turn your head. Lower your head. Start to slide your elbows back up. At the same time, bend your knees. Hips are heavy. Kick in 1. Kick in 2. Start to lower your feet. Slide your hands down. Lift up through the chest. Turn your head to the opposite side. Lower your head. Bend your elbows. Bend your knees. Bring those heels in. Kick in 1. Kick in 2. Now this time, as you start to lower your legs before your feet get to the floor, at the same time, lift your head. Lift your chest. Could you get your thighs off the floor? Turn your head. Lift your straight legs. And then lower your head and kick in 1. So your thighs are on the floor and you're bending your knees. Now start to take your legs away and at the same time lift your head, lift your chest so that when your head passes to the opposite side, try to get your thighs right up off the floor and then bring your knees down, kick in 1, squeeze 2 and take your legs out long and lift, legs stay together. 1 more here and turn to the opposite side, kick in 1, kick in 2 and relax. Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? That is a tough one. So gently does it. Bring yourself up into a 4-point kneeling position. Okay. And just into a little cat stretch here. Relax into neutral. So we're going to work here in a quadruped, 4-point kneeling. You can do this work laying on the floor face down. So if your knees don't like this, that's an option. Likewise, if the floor is a bit hard, do fold a towel up under your knees, but obviously not so much that you're wobbling, okay? So you can lay on the floor for this one if you need to. It's swimming, 4-point kneeling, we do swimming on the floor as well. Now, watch where your spine is. I know you know this, but again, check in. So very, very slightly push your ribs into the back of your t-shirt. Now your tailbone is pointing straight out to the wall behind you, not to the floor, not to the ceiling, but out to the wall in front of you. Likewise, the crown of your head. So remember that your spine starts right up behind your eyes. So think of that length. Now, start to slide your right leg along the floor until your right leg is fully straight. Just rest lightly on your toes. Slide your left hand along the floor so your fingers are on the floor. Now your fingers are going to stay touching the floor, but your arm is long in front of you. And you're going to lift your right leg and lower and lift your left arm. And lower. Lift your right leg, no weight in those fingers. Don't lift too high with your leg. Don't distort your pelvis. Lift your arm. And lower. Can we do the 2 together? If not, stay as you were. Lift, lower, 3. So alternate if that's better for you. Keep it slow, keep it slow. Lift, lower, 2. 1 more here. Breathe into those ribs. Lift, lengthen. And slide everything back in and come into a cat stretch. So now your tailbone and the crown of your head point to the floor. And relax. So reset, put that tray of glasses across your back, one edge of the tray on your shoulders, one edge of the tray on your waistband. Reset, equal weight. So again, sorry, I should have mentioned, if your wrists don't like this, couple of options here. You could have your hands on your block, like so your wrists are longer. If you've got your dumbbells handy, that is also really useful. Okay, remember, like so your wrists stay long. So if having your hand like that doesn't work, that's an alternative. Obviously, the working arm, you don't want to wait there, of course. Okay, so shoulders relaxing down, reset. So let's take that left leg out long, resting on the toes. So there's no weight there. You're not lifting, but there's no weight. Opposite arm out long, rest on your fingers. So your fingers are on the floor. Now lift your leg and lengthen. Come on, pull that foot away from you. Lower your leg and lift your arm. Lower your arm, pull that belter tighter. Lift your leg, don't go too high. Lengthen, try and touch the wall behind you. And lower, shoulders relaxing down. And lift your arm, lengthen out of your fingertips. Squeeze through that center. Let's put the two together. Are you ready? So we lengthen 3 and keep it slow. Watch you're not arching away from the back of your t-shirt. So slightly push into the back of your waistband, slightly into the back of your t-shirt. One more, reach and lower and slide it back home. Draw your chin to your chest, open through your spine. And relax. Fabulous work. Okay. Bring yourself over onto your back, please. And we're going to do exactly the same thing in reverse. So dead bugs. Exactly the same thing. All right. So you're resting on your head, your arms are long by your sides, your knees are bent. Now we're going to go across the diagonal, okay? I'm going to ask you just to have one foot off the floor, not both. I know that most of you are very used to both, but again, let's keep it slow and let's really work on precision of movement. So stable through the pelvis, strong through that center, shoulders relaxing down. I want you to lift your left arm to the ceiling and your right leg to tabletop. Okay. Now, flex your right foot and push your leg out long so that your knees are in line. Point your toes and pull back in. Hold it there. Take your arm overhead. Now remember, nothing else moves. And return. Flex your foot. Push your leg out long so that your knees are in line. Point your toes and pull back in. Take your arm overhead. Nothing else moves. Ribs are quiet. Equal weight through both sides of the pelvis. Are you ready to put the two together? You don't have to. You can stay as we were. Flex your foot. Leg goes long. Arm goes long. Remember, knees in line with each other. Point your toes and return. I want you to balance something. Balance a tennis ball on the front of your rib cage. It goes nowhere. And return. Push away and lengthen and return. Hold it here. Lift your second arm, stabilize through your center, lift your second leg and hold. Breathe into those ribs, shoulders relaxing down. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the other foot to the floor, opposite arm to the floor. Okay, so your arm stays still. Flex your foot. Press your leg away. Remember your knees are in line. Point your toes. Pull back in. Other arm overhead, ribs drawn down. And return. Flex your foot. Push away. Lengthen out of that heel. Now point your toes. Pull back in. Ribs stay quiet. Arm overhead. And return. If you'd like to stay at this level, you're very welcome. Otherwise, let's put the two together. So leg goes long. Arm goes long. Reach out of those fingertips. And return for 3. And lengthen, 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 lengthen. Reach out of those toes. Reach out of those fingers. Slowly. And return for 2. Keep it slow. Flex your foot. Leg goes long. Arm goes long. And come back in for 1. Hold it here. Lift your second arm. Lift your second leg. And hold. Ribs drawn down and in. Keep the weight across the middle of the rib cage and underneath your waistband. Deep breath in here. And as you breathe out, lower leg 1, lower leg 2. Take both arms overhead. Take both legs out long into a full body stretch. Well done. Full stretch here. And relax. Bring your arms back down. Bend your knees. Roll to one side. Bring yourself up to sitting. And then bring yourself up to standing. And let's go right back to where we started. Heels together. Arms along. Take a moment just to reset. Shoulders relaxing down, fingertips pulling to the floor. And just breathing out, turn and look over one shoulder. Bring your head to the center on your in-breath. Turn and look away to the other side. Come back to your center. Just a little nod of your chin. Lift your head back up. And relax. Well done. So you can see slowing it down can make it much more intense. I really hope you enjoyed that. Always get back with any questions, any feedback. Excellent work. Well done.